What's up, everybody? Thank you so much for listening to Your Ex-Drinking Buddy. My name is Brennan Tassif. I'll be your host. Subscribe, rate, and review wherever you get your podcast. Check out the merch store at brennantcomedy.com/merch-store. And make sure you subscribe on YouTube as well. We'll put the shorts up there, the full video, the whole thing. Thank you so much for listening. I love it. I hope you love it. Subscribe on Patreon, too. We do bonus episodes. I do Tales from the Restaurant, where I talk about celebrities I've waited on and whether they're assholes or not, which is super fun. Also, we do a pre-show banter for my other show, Cheers from the Press Box with Joe Dorville. A lot of behind-the-scenes stuff going on over there, too. Make sure you just subscribe everywhere, just all over the place. I greatly appreciate it. And if you're not leaving the mean comments, thank you for that. Maybe leave a couple nice ones.
Grab me your beer and grab me a coke. We bout to sit for an hour, bullshit and tell jokes. And please don't mix it up, cause he done sobered up. Brennan T Comedy on your social media feeds. And Brennan Tassif is your ex-drinking buddy. Brennan Tassif is your ex-drinking buddy. Brennan Tassif is your ex-drinking buddy. Brennan Tassif is your ex-drinking buddy.
What is up, everybody? Welcome into another edition of Your Ex-Drinking Buddy. I'm your host, Brennan Tassif. If you're new to the program, quick rundown of the show. I used to be everyone's favorite drinking buddy. It was my favorite thing to do, hang out with friends, get drunk, do drugs, get in all sorts of trouble, and then reminisce about those crazy stories. I am sober now, but it's still one of my favorite things to do, to hang out with somebody and reminisce about the crazy old days. Most weeks I'll be joined by a guest. This week is no exception. All the way from Brooklyn, New York, Gavin Rogers.
Hello. Incredible to be here. Incredible
What's
to
up,
be here.
man?
I'm happy to be here, man. Having a great day. It's a great day to be alive. The weather's good outside. It's nice.
It's a little chilly, but yeah, pretty good, pretty good. I saw you were wearing the sweatshirt, so I was like, I'm going to crack this window open and put on my hoodie too,
Heck
man.
yeah, man.
Before we get too far into anything, plug everything up front. Social media, where everyone can find you, let them know.
Yeah, follow me at Gav Rogers on Instagram. I also run a bi-monthly, it's every other week, comedy show in Brooklyn at a brewery in Bushwick called Cold Beer Comedy. You can follow us on Instagram there as well. Every other week we have great lineups. How can you not in New York City, you know?
It is. People, I was actually just talking about this with somebody. They DM'd me and they're like, "Oh, I really like your stuff," and I was like, "Oh, that's cool," because at my level that doesn't happen very often.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
I was
totally.
like, that's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, hell yeah.
But they were like, "Yeah, I lived in Maine, and now I just moved to, I think it was Chicago or Atlanta, like a bigger city, but not New York."
Sure, yeah.
And they're like, "Yeah, I have to start all over," and I was
Yeah.
like, dude, why didn't you just come to New York? Like, if you're already making a move.
Yeah, so that's a weird. I know we're gonna get into it and talk about it, but I started comedy in New York.
Oh,
and
did
so
you?
It's very odd. Like, I mean, it's accelerated my growth. I'm sure so much more, but it is
100%.
kind of weird. Like,
Well, and that's the thing is, I've met a lot of people, like especially on this podcast, where they started in a super small market.
Yeah.
Because especially with the internet now, you can just like find a Facebook group for wherever you live, comedy.
100%. Yeah.
But then they would move to a bigger market, but not LA or New York.
Yeah.
And
yeah,
then
why
they
didn't
would
you just
move
go
to LA, and
straight
it's
there?
like, it's so expensive to move to a brand new city.
Yeah.
It's like, why not just bite the bullet and do the hard one first?
Yeah. I'm from Ohio originally.
What part of Ohio?
Cincinnati.
Okay,
Yeah,
the nasty
so-
natty.
Yeah, I love it. Go
My
Bengals.
brother lived there. My whole family's from Ohio. So that's
Oh,
why
really?
Yeah, everyone
Hell
went
yeah.
to Kent State. It's
Oh,
the
amazing.
Whole,
I went to Miami.
Oh, of Ohio.
Big Mac school.
There we go.
Yeah,
What are
dude.
the Hawks, right?
Red Hawks.
Red
baby.
Hawks.
Not
Hey,
a real bird. Not a real bird.
Now there's a Seahawk, but nobody tells
Yeah.
Seattle that.
Yeah.
Ben Roethlisberger.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was the guy. John Harbaugh, the whole cradle of coaches up
Oh,
there.
really?
Yeah.
Look at you.
Oh, yeah.
So let's get into it. So how long have you been doing stand-up?
Been doing stand-up for about 2 years, like
Okay.
2.5.
Yeah.
I'm a young guy. I'm
Yeah.
a young gun. But yeah, I started in New York.
What brought you to New York from Ohio then?
Love
Love?
at first sight. Yeah, my fiance. We're
Okay.
getting married.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Getting married this coming February. And,
So you guys fell in love in Ohio?
yeah,
And then she
in
was like, oh, I got a
school.
job.
Exactly. She's 2 years younger than me. So
Yeah, she is.
Yeah. I moved to Columbus when I graduated. When she graduated, she moved straight to New York.
Okay.
And I basically, with every step, I was getting a little bit further from Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And so I just wanted something new. To
Okay, so
experience
that
a
didn't-
different city. And yeah.
That's interesting to me because I lived in Oklahoma City for a brief period, like 3 months. But I was staying with a cousin and I was doing a lot of comedy out there and stuff. But it was interesting because I would talk to people and they go, oh, you're from Florida. That's so cool. And I'm like, you can move.
Yeah.
But what I discovered is, especially in the Midwest, And that's just my experience. That's why I say that. But it was a lot of people who were almost afraid to leave where they're from.
100%. I think that was me. Like, that's why.
Okay, so that's why I wanted to ask, because you said I eventually got further away from Columbus, and I was like, "I'll screw it. I'll just go to New York."
Exactly.
So what was the catalyst for that? Was it moving away and then moving again, and then eventually you're just like, "Well, I'm already not even at home anymore."
Yeah, it was basically like, if not now, when. Like, I had great friends in Columbus. I still do. But it was really just...
They're all gone now.
Yeah,
New York, and they're like, fuck you.
Yeah, they all disbanded, yeah. No, I love everybody there. It was just more so like, if not now, when? Like, I was in my 20s. Like, let's go.
So what... This is interesting. So you moved to New York for love.
Yeah.
What prompted you to start doing stand-up?
That's a great question.
In the hardest place in the world to start stand-up?
Yeah, so two things. My fiance's dad is actually a stand-up in Cincinnati.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Okay.
Dennis Piper. He's great.
Shout out Dennis Piper.
Shout out. No, he's absolutely great. And so when we started dating and I started going to his shows, that's when I think...
How long have you guys been together?
Like 10 years.
Okay, that's right.
Yeah, it's a while, and then recently engaged.
Yeah.
But started going to his shows. I think that's when I fell in love with stand-up. And then like probably 3 years ago-ish, I saw Terrence Hartnett at a show in Bushwick.
Okay.
And he is also a cancer survivor. I'm a cancer survivor myself. And he talked about cancer his whole set. Like, and I died laughing.
You were like, this guy.
And it was like the first time.
This guy gets it.
Yeah, it was the first time I thought cancer could be funny.
Yeah.
And I have always loved like performing and being in front of people. And so it just felt like I needed to do this.
Did you have an affection for stand-up itself? Because you said you liked performing. Were you like in plays as a youth? Were you doing that kind of stuff? Or
I did some
why
plays.
stand-up?
I did some plays, some show choir. I grew up like performing in church, like learning the C and the G, the D, and then going to town. But I love being in front of people. And then I don't know why stand-up. Like, I think it just was a natural fit for me. I always wanted to try it, and
well, and you also have the connection with the fiance's dad, where it's kind of like, oh, if he can do it.
Yeah, why not me? Yeah.
So before we get too far into some of the stories and stuff like that, what was the first time? So you have this realization of like, oh, I want to try stand up.
Yeah.
You see the set and you're like, oh, that's crazy because, and I have the same thing with sobriety. Sometimes I'll see people write bits about rehab or DUIs or something, and I was like, you nailed it.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Yeah.
And I try to do the same, obviously, because we can only draw on our experiences. So for you, did you go home immediately and start Googling open mics, or like what happened?
Immediately. Open mics. I started looking into like what classes would look like in New York. I ended up doing a class at the Cellar.
Yeah.
And it was the best experience. And as soon as that class started, I started hitting the mics hard.
Okay.
And then right in the middle of that class, I think it was a 6-week period, I got laid off.
Okay.
And so I was like, okay, now I have all the time in the world.
Yeah.
Like every day I would wake up, I would still like apply for jobs.
Yeah.
You know, same being productive.
Just in case the fiance listens, I was still applying for jobs on a daily basis.
And then from like 2 hours, so I do that for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then go straight into like writing stand up, hitting open mics.
Where were you doing mics? Mainly in Brooklyn?
Mostly in Brooklyn. I would go to the Broadway Comedy Club.
Okay.
Like they have,
I know Broadway.
3 and 5 o'clock mic or something like that.
Like 5 days, 6 days a week.
Yeah. And so there's no shortage of mics in New York.
Oh,
like,
and that's the point I wanted to make was it's kind of crazy because you hit the mics that hard and you're out all the time and stuff. And the listeners know this, but like comedy's the reason I moved to New York. It's kind of the thing that I do. And I still go to mics. I still will hit like 3 or 4 mics a week.
Yeah.
And it's just such a big scene because
Huge.
We've never met.
Not once.
Until now.
Yeah.
And you're hitting mics every day, and I'm still going to quite a few mics. And that's why I was like, oh, maybe you go in Brooklyn, because I have a whole thing against Brooklyn just because I went to a mic there, and some woman was like, you can't do those bits.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like,
I'm
never coming back to Brooklyn.
I need to know. I need to spread out more, and I'm trying to. So, like, it's so easy just to stay in Bushwick.
Yeah.
Within a
I could imagine, 'cause there's
20-minute
like,
walk, there are, like, a comedy show every night or a mic every night. There's something within a 20-minute walk of my place. And so I need to get out more for sure.
Well, and it's the craziest thing because then it's like, oh yeah, we met through social media, like someone connecting us. But it's also like, how have we? I did a show in Jacksonville, Florida, where I'm from.
Yeah.
And there was a guy on the show. It was a Don't Tell show. Shout out Daisy Tackett for putting that together. There was a guy on the show And he was like, "Oh, you're from New York too?" And I
Yeah.
was like, "Yeah." And he goes, "Oh, I live in Brooklyn." And I was like, "Oh, did you like just move to New York?"
Yeah.
And he goes, "No, I'm from Jacksonville. I moved there like 3 years ago to New York to do
Wow.
comedy." And we had never met.
It's insane.
And I was like,
it's insane. I
because
think
he started doing comedy after I had left, and
Yeah.
then like 2 years in, moved up to New York, and we
Right.
just never crossed
Like
paths.
ships
But I was
in the
like,
night. Yeah.
how the fuck are we from the same part of Florida? We live in the same city now. We do the same
I
thing, and
know.
we've never run into each
It's
other.
insane. I think there are multiple, like there's the Brooklyn scene, there's the Queens,
Mm-hmm.
Manhattan scene, and even like train lines.
Yeah.
Like there's the Park
That's a good
Slope
point,
scene,
yeah.
and there's like the Bushwick Williamsburg scene. Like
Yeah.
it's insane. It's
Well,
crazy.
and I made a mistake, and the listeners know this, but I'll let you know. When I first moved here, I was like, I had been doing comedy a while.
Yeah.
Like I started in 2009, took some time off for drugs and alcohol and incarceration.
Sure.
But then I came back in 2018. But when you come back, it's like kind of riding a bike. Like
Yeah.
you know like beats and cadences and things like that. So it's not like I was starting from zero.
right.
And then when I moved to New York, I was like, oh, I've been doing this long enough. I'll just hang out at the stand in the cellar.
Oh, yeah.
And they'll be
Yeah.
like, we got to get this
Yeah.
guy on stage.
Yeah.
That's not how it works. That's not what happened. I wasted years and years just hanging out there. I made a lot of friends.
Yeah.
But the bookers are still like,
Who are?
yeah, we
like,
don't fucking care.
yeah. Yeah.
And so I say all that to say, like, a lot of times when people first move here, case in point, what you're describing is you'll hit a lot of mics,
Yep.
you'll go to the smaller clubs because that's where your friends are performing.
Yeah,
And then
exactly.
you kind of get in the door at the smaller clubs and then work your way up. And I was like, no, I'll just skip the line.
Yeah,
and it's like,
yeah.
no, you won't.
No, yeah, it's cutthroat here.
Dude,
Like,
it's crazy. So I want to talk about one last thing about comedy because this always interests me. When you did your first mic, how did it go? Did you, because you said you were writing a lot and stuff,
Yeah.
but you said you kind of jumped in. So
Yeah.
before your first mic, when you decide, okay, I'm going to sign up for the mic, I'm going to take the comedy class, had you written material or were you
Yeah.
just kind of going in blind?
I had written material as like part of my class. So I had a framework, and like the class graduation, they let you do 5 minutes
Yeah, it's a
on
show,
the
right?
cellar
Yeah.
stage. Yeah. And
It's on the cellar. Yeah, it's a big deal.
It was sick.
Don't
It was
wash
awesome.
over that. It's a big deal.
So yeah, I had like a framework in mind, but it was a 3:00 mic in the middle of Manhattan. It was heinous vibes, like just terrible, and then dead silent
Yeah.
too, like not a single whisper.
There's
of a
certain mics in the city where I'm like, if you want to get comfortable in silence,
Yeah,
you should do this mic. If
exactly.
you want to know if jokes work, you should do these other mics.
Right, exactly. And yeah, every mic serves its purpose. Like, I mean, I stopped going to that mic shortly after, but I will say.
But no, it's good for you. It's good,
Yeah,
for,
it's really
good for you
good.
guys.
It's good to
Yeah.
experience for sure. Everybody
they're-
has their process.
It is. It's so fun to me because being in New York is a thing. And I joke all the time. Like one of my biggest credits when I go on the road is from New York City. And I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah.
I've done some pretty cool stuff.
Yeah,
But yeah, we'll
for
go
me
with
that works because that
Yeah.
is a sick credit for you. Like you've actually done things.
I'm like, all right. But it's a fun thing just because that's a credit in itself.
Yeah.
We'll get, like, people from out of town are here all the time.
Yeah.
And so they'll be at like a mic, because I do the Greenwich Village mics a lot.
At the comedy club there.
Yeah, at Greenwich
Okay,
Village.
I just went there for the first time and loved it.
I'll be there tomorrow. Wednesday.
right.
On Wednesday. I hit the mics there on Wednesdays. But it's so funny when you see people come in and they're like, "Oh, I'm from Nebraska or Omaha or just from out of town, out of the country."
Yeah.
And they're like, "I do comedy there." And I tell people this all the time. It doesn't matter if you're just a quote unquote open micer where you come from.
Mm-hmm.
If you come to New York, even to visit, get on stage in
Yes,
New York. Because then
absolutely.
forever you can say, I've performed in New York. I've done comedy in New York.
It's the Mecca. Like
Yeah.
it is the place to be.
And that's why, like, you kind of gloss over because you did the class, and you're like, yeah, I got to perform on the cellar
Yeah.
stage. But still, it's still like you paid for it and you did the class, but it's
Yeah.
still a cool experience.
100%. I will say it was like a short time ago. It was like 2.5 years ago. And my comedy is nowhere near the same. And so I have this 5-minute, like type 5, like, all these gnarly jokes that I just do not even touch anymore.
It's so fun because I've done a couple sets at the cellar, but not through Esty
Yeah.
or Liz, the manager. I've done them through friends who produce shows
Like
there.
showcases
and
and
they'll
stuff,
put
yeah.
me on it. And I remember I moved to New York, and within like 6 months, I had met someone who was like, "Oh, you should do my show at the cellar."
Yeah.
And I was like, "This is gonna be easy."
Yeah.
Like, are you kidding me? I'm already getting up at the cellar.
Right.
But it still was an experience where forever you could be like, yeah, I have, because I've done it 2 or 3 times since, and it's like, yeah, I have performed at the Cellar.
It's so cool,
which is like, there's a small, it's like when I played Division I college football. Yeah, I was a scout team practice squad guy, but there's only a finite number of people in the world who can say I was on a Division I college football roster.
Exactly.
And it's the same kind of thing, because this is the highest level is New York City. And you've gotten on that stage.
Yeah, hell yeah, man.
But I look back on some of my videos, like, you know, I tape every set. And so I look back on those and I'm like, oh, this is terrible.
Yeah, it's so bad.
It's like, I wish I could call those people now and be like, hey, can I get, you know, that produce show that you don't produce anymore? Is there any way you could talk to somebody? Because I'm so much better now than I was just 3 years ago.
Yeah, 100%.
And it's cool that you started in New York only for the simple fact that the work ethic that you're instilled with starting here is way different. Yeah. Just speaking from experience coming from Florida, like a lot of my friends produce shows and I would produce my own shows and we would just put each other on them because that's what we do. And we're all good enough to where it's like, yeah, I know you're not going to bomb the show. I know you're going to be really good. So like, we'll put you on the show, but then you don't have to get better.
Right. Yeah.
But if you go to like some days, because I hit a lot of mics on Wednesdays, some Wednesdays I'll hit 3 open mics. By the third one, if it's a lot of the same people and you're doing the same like 3 new jokes, you can go fuck yourself.
Right.
Because it's like
people are over it pretty quick.
Yeah. So it forces
and if you're not
you to write.
if you're not noticeably changing anything at all from the first time you did those 3 jokes to the third time in one
people
night,
are like, then why are you even here?
Exactly.
Go home and do it in your bathroom.
You're wasting your time and mine.
Yeah. And it is, there are people when they first start where they just need to get their 5 together. So I get that. Like you do the same one every single time, rep. And that makes sense. The difference is, though, in New York, there are so many people who moved here from other places where they've already developed their 5 or their 10 or whatever, that sometimes you'll see, like, good comics, and you're like, all right, now you shouldn't be doing the same 3 fucking jokes, man. Like, come on, what are we doing?
100%.
So let's talk about it.
Yeah, let's jump in.
Growing up in Ohio.
Yeah.
You are a cancer survivor, you did mention. You were 7 years old, correct?
Yep.
So, do you remember? Because I don't remember anything before like 12. So,
yeah,
like,
bits and pieces. I joke around. Like I only remember the good parts.
Okay.
Like I remember, like getting presents and like I got a Nintendo 64 right before. I was like living the life. I like remember little snippets of like
GoldenEye is so fun. Sit down, Gavin. We have something we need to talk to you about.
Seriously, it's GoldenEye 64.
You know how you've been so tired all the time.
Yeah. So I like remember the good parts. And then I have a lot of family in Indiana. And so like, it was almost like family reunions, like people coming to visit me and stuff.
Do you talk about it with your parents now about like what that time was like?
Yeah.
Were they obviously
so traumatic for them?
Huge deal.
Yeah. And my parents had me young too. Like they were 25, 26 when I was diagnosed.
Oh, really?
God, and so
you're a kid.
Yeah, I know. And like I'm like 30 now.
Yeah.
And I'm like, could you imagine if I had a 6-year-old diagnosed? Like, absolutely not.
Not at all.
I think that would ruin me. I think bankruptcy.
what was going through? Because obviously, like you said, you talked to them about it. What was going through their mind? Did they? All right, we'll get dark for a second. Was there a possibility? Because I was reading it on your bio and stuff like that. You had non-Hodgkin's lymphoma.
Yep.
So you very well could have died.
Yeah, it was a blood cancer.
Yeah.
And initially, I think they thought it was worse than later they found out. Like, I think they thought it was like in my bone.
That's got to be a bit to be like,
I know.
They thought it was way worse. It was just blood cancer.
Yeah. But I think they thought it was in my bone marrow initially. And then I don't think it was actually. So, like, it could have been way worse. But, I mean, it was a blood cancer. Like, like it's the real deal.
So what is the treatment for that? Obviously, there's chemotherapy and stuff like that, or do they do a lot of like transfusions just to get the blood out?
Yeah, blood transfusions, chemotherapy.
Get the bad blood out and put good blood in.
Exactly.
Got it.
There was this time actually, I was like I had all of these appointments, and it was like middle of the day with my dad. And I mean, I was 7, so we're like roughhousing and stuff. I'm actively getting a blood transfusion, and I looked down,
and he's like giving you a noogie, and you're like,
stepped on the bloodline, and I was just standing in a pool of someone else's blood. Like it was so bad.
It's like that opening scene in Blade in the warehouse where there's just blood coming down from everywhere.
I'm lucky. Like my dad is like cool as ice. He like puts the clamp on and like rings the bell, like, you know, not
even
phased
at
whatsoever.
25 too.
Yeah.
I'd be like, "Wah!"
Yeah, oh my God. Yeah.
So, you, like you said, you're 30 now. So what was it like to, you know, you go into remission, they say you're cancer free.
Yeah.
And then for you as a child, are you just like,
Okay.
I'm back to
good.
living life?
Yeah, it's normal stuff. I wasn't allowed to play some sports, like contact sports, especially because like it attacked my bones. And so bones were like really brittle. I actually had a compression fracture in, in my spine, one of my vertebrae. And,
just from living, just from walking
from
around
living,
because
yeah.
they got, okay.
Yeah. And so like other than that though, yeah, life was pretty normal. I had regular checkups. We would go in and get like scans done regularly, but the further you get from
That's
your
what I wanted to
remission
ask,
date,
yeah.
it's like less and less frequent.
So now, do you still go get scans on a regular basis?
Yeah, not scans. I do like heart stuff mostly. Like I guess the specific type of chemo I took really like affects the development of the heart.
Yeah.
So like
I don't mean
like
to laugh,
that.
but it is one of those
I know.
things where, and so many comics have jokes about the premise, but it's like, yeah, take this if you want to get rid of your headaches, but you will have all these other problems.
It's weird for me because I was so young that I'm like, I don't know what kind of appointments I need almost, you know? And there was definitely a lapse. Like I went to the pediatrician until I was probably like 20 years old.
Yeah.
And they were like, why are you still here?
You're the one
I don't
who
know.
dealt with this, man.
I don't know where else to go.
You're my guy.
Yeah. And,
Remember the cancer thing?
Yeah, exactly. And so like that stuff like that, I need just like a full list of all of the drugs I took, all of the checkups I should be getting, and just start from scratch.
That's I feel that way a lot because of all my concussions and the brain damage that I had from football. But I didn't have health insurance.
Yeah.
So like in my 20s when I was drinking and using drugs, but then I had all these side effects from my concussions.
Yeah.
I would have like seizures and I'd go to neurologists and they would check me out and I'd go to specialists, but I didn't have insurance. So I would go to different ones all the time, trying to, you know, just kind of backdoor my way. Like, yeah, my name is Jonathan Doe.
Yeah.
You can send that bill to nobody. But then like now all my records are scattered and I don't have any. So now at 37, engaged, you know, trying to live a proper lifestyle.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't go to doctors yet because Tracy and I aren't married, so I still don't have health insurance. But it's a weird thing to like go to a doctor and be like, yeah, I have been diagnosed with all of this stuff. They put me on medications. I can't remember what they were.
Yeah,
I can't remember exactly what the chart said.
Yeah.
But just so you're aware,
Yeah,
like,
here's what we've been working with.
Yeah, and I think about that constantly of like, I wish I could just get, and now with technology the way it is, everything is linked. But I was like, they're like, I remember
17, 20 years, even now, like everything that's built out, I work in healthcare.
Okay.
And so like knowing the behind the scenes, I'm like, nothing makes sense.
there's no, well, and it's because I remember I had a medical emergency like 5 or 6 years ago and I went to urgent care. I just went to urgent care because I was like, and I say medical emergency, it was like during COVID and I was like, I think I have COVID. I think I might have, I don't want to give it to my family. Like, what do I do? And this is when COVID was brand new. So I was like panicking.
Who knows? Yeah.
Because I refused to go to doctors. But then when this happened, I was like, I guess I have to go.
Right.
And I remember talking to them and they're like, well, do you have any medical issues? And I go, well, I've had all these concussions. And like, I list all the stuff. And they go, okay, well, what was your doctor's name? And I was like, I fucked if I know.
Yeah.
And they go, well, where was it? And I go, Daytona, South Florida, Oklahoma City.
Which
like
one
these
are we talking
all
about?
places I went to the hospital, to the ER, and like had to see a specialist.
Yeah.
And they were just like, that's all you got? And I was like, that's
That's
all I got.
all I got. That is all the information I have.
Well, we got to start from zero then.
Well, with me, it's like, okay, non-Hodgkin's lymphoma, and then they're like, what did you do to get rid of it? Chemotherapy. And they're like, what kind of chemotherapy?
Yeah, because there's a lot.
And I'm like, like I made it to the second question.
So it's like, who was your doctor? And you're like,
who knows?
let me call my
man?
dad, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then your dad's like, that was 20 years ago.
Yeah, exactly. I have a literal physical binder that's probably 8 inches
Okay, I was
thick
gonna ask,
of
yeah.
like medical records that
Just
I'm just
walking
like,
and
I
slamming it on the
seriously,
table.
yeah, it's like, yeah, exactly.
You figure it out, stupid.
Yeah, this is not my job.
So this is interesting to me because I've never had someone on the show who had such a traumatic health issue when they were that young.
Yeah.
So when you get to high school, especially in the Midwest, I know it's a big like drinking culture and like party culture and stuff. So when you're in like middle school going into high school, Are you at all concerned, like when you have friends who start to go to house parties and drink, are you like, oh, I can't do that? Or were you living a pretty normal life? Or?
Yeah, it's not that I couldn't do that. I just never wanted to in middle school, high school. That being said, like college rolls around, I became a I became a party guy.
So when you were in high school, were you going, because I always like to ask this question because it kind of sets up the trajectory for the rest of the show. When you were in high school, were you a popular kid, like going to house parties or?
Not really,
okay,
no.
Me neither,
I knew people. Like I was friendly with everybody. I wasn't necessarily being bullied or anything like that, but I just wasn't really in with any particular group. And so I was just kind of like, whatever I got invited to, sure, I'll go, but it wasn't anything
And
crazy.
then when you get to Miami of Ohio.
Yeah, that's when the partying started kicking up a
What
notch.
happened to you where you were like, okay, now I'm going to do this?
Yeah, I don't know. I think part of it was just like the college experience. Part of it was this is what everyone's doing. I'm a social guy too. Like I love talking to people. So if you get me 3 or 4 beers deep, I'm like, oh, this is great. Like,
so, do you know anything about non-Hodgkin's lymphoma?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I remember the first
that
party
is such
I
a
went
trump
to.
card, especially now with everybody being like, my trauma.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, really? Here, let me.
I saw a kid at an open mic recently. I forget his name. I would plug him, but he was 16 and was talking about like the issues he had at 16. And I went up after. I was like, well, I had like cancer when I was 7. So like, you don't have many issues.
Well, and it's just one of those things where everybody's worst day is their worst day, so you can't really judge it. But it is like whenever people, especially because like being an alcoholic and an addict and incarcerated so many times, whenever people are like, "Man, work gave me such a shitty schedule," I'm like, yeah, I was in jail for a long time.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, if we want to play that game.
Yeah. So for you, you get to college and you're like, all right, fucking, I'm gonna do this thing now.
Yeah.
Did a lot of people you knew from high school go to the same college?
There were a decent amount, but I wasn't, again, not like super close with them. So I'd rub shoulders with them at parties sometimes, like say, hey, what's up? But people didn't really know me from the previous life. So
do you remember the first? Because I remember it clear as day showing up to college, meeting my roommate and being like, oh, it's on.
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember like when you did like that line that you crossed, that transition to be like when you were like, oh, we're doing this?
Yeah, I remember.
Let's talk about it.
It was a house party. I got drunk on like 4 natty ices, I think.
Well, so I'm obsessed with little details. So how did you get to the house party?
Yeah,
was it like
meeting,
a college roommate? Did you just meet some friends? Like how did that happen?
Yeah, meeting people just in the dorms and stuff. The dorm that I was in was adjacent to the arts dorm.
Okay.
And they separated everybody but by like interests, whatever.
Yeah. You got me on separation, Gavin.
Yeah. And so I wish I would have joined the arts dorm for whatever reason. I didn't view myself as an artistic person back then.
What'd you go to school for?
Education at first. Then I switched to strategic communications.
Okay.
And I actually have, it's weird, I have minors in comparative religion and community-based leadership too.
Okay.
Which is like...
So when you run for office and text me that we have to take this down, I'm going to be like, no, it's people get to know you.
Yeah,
it's fun.
The people need to know.
So I'm interested in this because you said you were in a dorm, you met people in the dorm. So was it like someone who lived close? Because you said then you went to a house party. Was it just like
somebody
student?
who lived in the arts dorms, and then I kind of got in with their group because honestly that's who I fit in better with in the first place.
Yeah.
And we went out to a house party. And natty ice. That was the drink of choice that day.
On your way to this house party, are you just like, oh, I'm doing it?
I'm
you already had made up your mind?
Yeah. I mean, at this point, like kind of everybody else was in the same boat as me. We're all like 18, 19 years old.
Yeah.
And
natty ice.
just
man.
making friends. Yeah.
Well, because I remember because I didn't drink until much later in life. Like everyone in my family my siblings are all what you would like deem popular kids.
Yeah.
And they were all going to house parties and stuff in high school.
Yeah.
And I remember I was thinking like drinking is poison, blah, blah, blah. But I remember the first time I went to a football party, and everyone's like, come on, Tassif, just drink. And because everyone knew I didn't drink.
Right.
And I remember I drank like a swig of Smirnoff Ice, and everyone's like,
loses their minds. Yeah.
But because in my head, I was like, no, I don't drink. That's not something I do. I don't drink.
Yeah.
But I didn't make the decision until I was in the moment, and then
Right.
kind of got peer pressured into it. And then it was like this huge deal.
Yeah.
So, but for you, you were the opposite. You were like, no, I'm in college now. This is what we do. This is what I'm gonna do.
Exactly. And it wasn't ever, I don't think I was ever like, oh, I need to get drunk. But it was like, oh, we're going to a party. Like,
Let's do it.
there are going to be other people
I wanna
my
talk.
age.
Let's go.
Yeah, exactly.
I wanted to ask you the elected to party thing. Where was that at?
Yeah, so that I was never in a social frat. I was in a service frat though. And
What's the difference?
A service frat, well, first it was co-ed. So
Okay.
anybody's in. And then it was literally just like you have to do, I think it was 20 service hours.
Okay,
a
so it was
semester.
more just like
Service
boosting up the
focused. Yeah.
resume kind of a thing.
Exactly, yeah. And so I joined that, kind of worked my way up the ranks, so to speak. And I was known as like a social party guy. At the same time, I was elected to be like I think they call it like fellowship chair, which is literally just throw a party. My best friend Kyle was also elected to be the VP of membership, and his whole thing was just recruiting people.
Yeah.
And so us combining forces, he was essentially just recruiting people to party.
Yeah. Well, that's what they did when we would have kids in for their college visits, like athletes.
Yeah.
The coaches would be like, make sure they want to come here.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
so you're like, I guess that means we're partying.
Exactly. And so at the time, I lived in this big house. It had like probably 20 or 30-foot ceilings and like a lofted area, all concrete floors with a conversation pit.
Okay.
It was the perfect party house. And so we would just throw these absolute ragers with these with these people. And like the people who join a service fraternity oftentimes are like
Nerds?
former Boy Scouts. Yeah, like they aren't the biggest partiers.
Or Girl Scouts, 'cause it
Or
is
Girl
co-ed.
Scouts, yeah, co-ed. They're not the biggest partiers. And so essentially like we were teaching these kids how to party.
Well, yeah, because that's the proposition of like, hey, you get to college.
Yeah.
I'm not going to join like a fraternity to like brotherhood and we're going to party and get drunk and
Right.
do drugs. You're like, I want to join a fraternity where we help people.
Yeah,
and you're like,
yeah.
The fuck are you? The fuck are you?
And my best buddy and I, like, our whole theory is like, let's get as many people in here as possible. And like, we'll still do the service after.
Yeah.
We're still going out and helping people. But it's like, now instead
You're like the
of
bad boys of the service fraternities.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, we're still
Yeah.
showing up.
We ride it at motorcycles and stuff.
It's mopeds and Vespas. We're still showing up to do service, but we're going to have a good time.
We will be hungover from the night before, but I mean, if we're bringing 200 people, like before us, the chapter size was, I think, like 50 people.
Yeah.
And after us, it was like 300 people.
Elected
Like, it
to
was
party,
like-
baby. We're
yeah.
recruiting around here.
Yeah, exactly. It was sick, man. It was awesome.
So you said you were a sophomore when you joined the service frat?
Yeah, I was a sophomore
And then did
when
you
I
do
joined.
it the rest of the time?
Elected to party my junior year, and then I kind of like phased out my
Okay.
senior year.
You're like, my work here is
yeah,
done.
my work here is done.
When
yeah.
did you meet your fiance? Because this would have been in college.
Yeah, we met at Skipper's, the restaurant that we both
Okay.
worked at, and that was
We're repping the
happening-
gear right
yeah,
now.
Repping the gear, baby. And yeah, it was the same time as I was elected to party. And
Okay.
so started working at a bar, and absolutely like I loved the nightlife of it. Like it's like us as comics. Like you just love being a night owl.
Yeah,
at some point,
it's
you
funny
know?
too because I sometimes don't even do stuff at night, like outside.
Yeah.
Like I say it all the time. I'm an old man in the sense that I like to be home by 11, but
Yeah.
I'm still a comic in the sense where I won't go to bed till 4 a.m.
Exactly.
Like I'll
yeah.
be playing Xbox or cutting clips or doing something, but it's like I operate in the night.
Yeah, exactly. So I started working door there. They also had like a kitchen. They had food. They had bar. And my fiance, she was working the kitchen at the time.
Okay. Oh, really?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
honestly thought you were going to say bartender or something.
No, yeah. Yeah, so that was my junior year. We didn't start dating until like the following summer.
Okay.
So there was some time where it was just like, casual flirting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you had sent me something, speaking about Skippers, you had sent me something about a Skippers party.
The Christmas parties were absolutely bonkers. It was usually like the week before the final exams of that semester.
Okay.
And they literally they close it down to everybody else. It was Skippers employees only, and it's essentially open bar.
And I have to imagine, because it's a bar in a college town that
Yeah.
you work with like a lot of because you're not a degenerate,
yeah.
but
Yeah.
I'm sure you work with a lot of people like me who were
100%.
like.
That's like the people who taught me how to party.
Yeah.
Really was I.
It's like you were living a double life.
Yeah, they taught me how to party, and then I
Taught the Boy Scouts how to party.
yeah. It was
Transitive property
yeah.
of partying.
We would work these like late night shifts, and you're getting off work at 4 a.m, and then people are like, okay, where's the afters?
Yeah.
And so we're going to after parties.
And you're
that's
doing
like-
this.
Oh yeah.
This blows my mind because you don't strike me, and from everything you've described, you're
Yeah.
not like that guy.
I am not, but as soon
But you're
as
so
like,
social that you're like, no, I want to hang
yeah,
out.
when the party hits, man, the party. Like I am down to hang. Like I will never be the first in bed.
I am down to hang.
Yeah, seriously. And so like this whole thing, the same year, so Miami has Green Beer Day.
Mm-hmm.
It's like essentially St. Patrick's Day, but they move it with spring break.
Okay.
So it happens a Thursday before spring break. When I was elected to party, my platform was essentially like for Green Beer Day specifically, we're treating this like an actual frat house. Like,
Okay.
we are going to have a party at midnight going into Green Beer Day.
Marathon.
And then another one at noon. And you just have to hit the bars and come back in
Yeah.
between. Like,
Marathon it.
yeah.
God.
And it was electric, man. It was so much fun. It was one of the craziest days of my life. I probably got like 2.5 hours of sleep between parties.
Are you being, when it comes to the drinking and all that kind of stuff, are you being relatively responsible? Or are you
for a
'cause-
college student?
Well, and I was gonna say
yeah.
because nothing you're describing is like, yeah, and then I blacked out and I was throwing up everywhere and I had to
Yeah.
get rushed to the hospital.
Yeah, never rushed to the hospital or anything. There were some like definitely blackouts, brownouts, but like I would wake up and be like, "Oh, that was regretful, but nothing crazy."
Gosh,
you
that's
know?
so-
yeah, I think I was.
It's
so
like the
I-
best of both worlds. As a recovering alcoholic, that seems like awesome to be like,
Yeah.
no, I could like go hard, but then I just pull it right back.
Yeah, I do feel like I'm bragging a bit. No, I don't know what it
The
was.
second it hits my lips, I'm like, we're going streaking. And
Yeah.
everyone's like, someone put Brennan back in the box, please.
I get hammered, but I'll like be nice and just
Yeah.
goofy and like I'll cuddle you, but I'm not ever gonna like
I'll
I'm
cuddle
not
you.
trying to fight anybody. You know?
Yeah. So when you do the skippers, the Christmas parties,
Mm-hmm.
is that like because you are elected to party and
Yeah.
then your friend who's the VP also, like you guys do that.
Yeah.
But now when you go to skippers, you're now dealing with like people who are degenerates who do
Yeah.
this on a regular basis. Was that kind of a culture shock for you to be like, oh,
Definitely.
you guys are doing coke in the bathroom. This is a different kind of life.
Yeah, 100%. Because like I grew up high school and stuff like that. Like I was super involved in church. I think that's probably why I didn't drink so much
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that
in high
makes sense.
school. And so it's definitely like oh. Like we're really partying, and I wasn't doing the hard drugs. I was
Yeah.
doing like I would do like smoke weed or whatever
Mm-hmm.
at the party, but I was never doing coke. I remember
it is
one
a-
time.
it's a crazy
It
thing to
was
see it
very
for the first
accessible.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was extreme. There was one time there was a mountain of cocaine on this person's coffee table. I'm like, this is just one person's sneeze away from just ruining
And
the
you just
party.
walk in and you're like, well, that's interesting. So anyway,
Yeah, like absolutely crazy. So that was definitely like a transition into that. But like I said, I was a social guy, and so
Yeah.
any opportunity to just chat with people, man,
that's that is a way to put it. And the opportunity to just kind of sit down and hang out. I'm having fun.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask, so when you finish college and you moved from Miami of
from
Ohio to
Oxford,
Yeah.
where Miami, Ohio is, to Columbus. And the partying really just continued.
Okay,
Like,
that's
so,
what- yeah.
Some of my like skippers friends moved with me. We went out there, and there was already some skippers alumni living out there, and so it was just like
I love how you say skip the bar alumni,
Yeah.
not Red Hawks. We're
No,
talking about skippers,
no,
baby.
it's skippers alone. Yeah,
It's
and
not
so,
about what you know; it's about who you know.
Yeah, the party just continued out there. I started
So what
working
did you do
for
after college? Did you get a job immediately right out of the gate?
I was working in tech. It was like a support job.
Okay.
Like answering phones, answering chats, a job that you could show up hungover to. I don't condone that, but
You could.
yeah. And so I was working with all my friends too.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were still going out like probably 3 or 4 nights a week, partying on the weekends,
Yeah.
There were some nights in Columbus where like there was one again, like I can't quit the party. And so we were like looking for a late night spot. Someone told us about this spot that was open until like 5 or 6 in the morning. And it's like, you buy a ticket, you buy admission, and then it's open bar. That's how they get around everything. And no, that was,
because
that
you're
was
not
a
paying
time.
for the booze. You're paying for
Exactly. Yeah.
It is such.
And like talking about how I get drunk when I'm nice, like I was just going up to the bar and ordering shots of Jameson and be like, this round's on me. It's like, oh yes, all of them are free.
Your dad joking it?
Yeah. And I'm like blacked out, but those are the stories that I hear afterwards.
Oh my God. It's insane to me because like the people I know to this day, and even back in my old life, where it's like we're looking for a spot to go to at 5 a.m. are some of the worst human beings I've ever met in my life. And I was one of them.
Yeah.
And you're like a super sweet guy who's been through all this stuff.
I'm just here to have a good time. I'm just here having fun, man.
If someone asked me, if we put like 6 comics in a lineup and you're one of them, and they say, hey, find the guy who likes to go out till 7 in the morning, I'd be like, definitely not the guy with glasses.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I cannot hang like that anymore. No way. But yeah, back then I was just like, I just wanted to hang out. Just wanted to have a good time.
So what were the company parties that you were talking about?
Oh yeah, we had a fiscal New Year's party.
So this is after Skippers. This is in Columbus.
In Columbus, this is at the tech company. And once a year, it was usually in like March or April, they would sponsor a party. And it was just like, open bar, no limits. We had them in the art museum in Columbus.
Oh, really? That's actually
like,
pretty cool.
It was like bougie. Like I was like wearing a tuxedo for it. It was just a reason to dress up and get hammered with your friends.
The people you're working with, I'm assuming, are uninitiated.
Uninitiated.
As far as like the lifestyle that you've lived with the Skippers kind of thing.
Well, there was some Skippers people.
That's okay.
There.
You did mention that. But the reason I ask is because when someone says tech company, and again, we're breaking through stereotypes here because I would never assume that you were a late night guy.
Yeah.
So when someone says tech company, I think like a lot of nerds or people who don't go out a lot and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So what I was wondering was when you get to this tech company with your Skipper friends, are you like elected to party all over again?
No.
Where you're like, hey, I'm gonna what we did with the fraternity, I'm gonna do here.
Yeah, I think there was some of that, but like the main friend group that we were hanging out with, they were already like they were already in the party scene.
But we are initiated, aren't we, Bruce?
Yeah, and like again, we're working a support job too, where it was like, we were making, I think, $40K.
Yeah,
like answering
doing phones. Yeah,
it was like a post-grad job essentially.
It's so interesting with those kind of jobs because doing comedy and working in the service industry, like at restaurants, because I still do that.
Yeah,
but there have been times in my life where I'm like, you know what, maybe this isn't going to work out. I should go get a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
But because I have such a gap in my resume from professional work,
right,
even though I have like my degrees and everything, you go and they go, well, we have to start you at like an entry level position.
Especially because how quickly tech is moving. These days.
Even like any kind of like, even with like a financial job or anything like that, they're like, well, you have to start at the bottom.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, how does that pay? And they're like $30,000 a year. And it's like, I
can't
owe more than that.
Yeah.
Like I make 85 waiting tables. What are we talking about?
Yeah, I can't make that switch. That's insane. Like,
so because I'll talk to some of my friends now who obviously when they first graduated college got those jobs and now they are higher up.
Yeah.
And they make a great living and have benefits and stuff. And they're like, you should really, if you ever think about leaving comedy, which I never would, but they're like, you should switch into like this field.
Yeah.
And then you just look into it out of curiosity and you're like, the starting salary is $25,000.
Right.
Like you're in your fucking mind.
It's crazy. Yeah. And that's how they get people. They get people just out of school.
Because they need the experience. It's the same thing with comedy. You don't you want the exposure?
Yeah.
I'm not going to pay you anything, but you can get clips.
Yep. 100%.
I've kind of fully embraced that though now.
Yeah.
Like if I walk into somewhere and they're like, yeah, none of us are getting fucking paid. I go, we're getting paid in clips, baby.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Set up the tripod. We're getting clips. You better believe I'm going to fucking talk to some people.
And then half the time the audience is bad too. Like, okay, dude, can't even use a clip.
I have so many bits where I'm like, that's a good joke.
Yeah.
But I just have to cut it like right at the punchline because there's like tepid laughter.
Yeah.
I'm like, we'll just cut it right there.
Yeah. 100. I need to learn your editing tips.
Dude, I started so I got these wireless mics. And they actually do make a difference.
Yeah.
And I would see comics have the lav mic, like the lapel mic on them, and I was like, fucking dork.
Yeah.
Like, who does that?
I bought one of those, and the audio quality sucks.
So the ones I have, the audio quality is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
My problem is I move a lot on stage because Dane
yeah.
Cook was one of my influences. So I do a
Yeah.
lot of like with the walking and pacing and stuff. And the problem is if you put it on your left side of your lapel and then you move to the right to talk, it sounds
noticeable.
like you're doing this.
Right.
But I was like, you know what I'll do? Because also the camera's in the back of the room. So if the audience isn't mic'd, they're laughing forward. So
Yeah.
even if you crush, it's not going to sound like you crush on the recording because the
100%.
camera's not picking it up.
Yeah.
The reason it picks up the mic so well, even without a wireless mic, is because it's projecting towards the
out.
camera.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, I got this dual pack of wireless mics. I'll put one in the audience and then I'll put one on myself.
Did it work?
Fuck no, it didn't work.
Well, good idea.
I was
really
like,
good
this
idea.
is genius. So I always put it like at the center table. Well, I did it twice.
Yeah.
But all you can hear is like what's happening at that center table. So
yeah.
like you'll do a joke and you'll hear like one of the, like someone in the couple be like, ha ha ha.
Yeah, one person.
But it's just one person. You're like, God damn it.
One isolated laugh. Oh, that's
And
amazing.
you can't even like cut that and like amplify because it's just one guy.
Yeah.
So it is the clip thing is just a whole other fucking.
It gives me headaches.
Yeah.
I like don't have many clips because it just gives me a headache to try.
So
to put it together.
I audio record every single set. Open mic doesn't matter because you never know what you could find. I video record every set I do in front of real people.
Yeah.
And I say that for those of you listening, you already know this, but at open mics, especially in New York, it's a lot of just comedian. It's not a lot. It's all just comedian.
100%, yeah.
So I'll audio record those because sometimes you'll say something on a riff and be like, oh, that's the bit.
Yeah.
Some of my best bits were just riffs. And
Yep.
people are like, that's the bit.
100%.
So I audio record those, but I will film any set with an audience because you never know what's going to happen. I mean, look
Right.
what happened to Ariel. She got that beer thrown at her and it changed her entire life.
100%.
And she was just doing a shitty show in Jersey.
Yeah.
But watching those back, dude, it's
Sometimes painful. It's
incredible because you're like, oh boy. Especially
Yeah.
because in the room you'll be like, oh, this got like a decent laugh. Like there was 12 people. We did okay.
Yeah.
And then you watch it back again because you're not picking up the sound. So it's like I'm talking to myself
Yeah.
for 20 minutes.
Oh yeah, 100%. And especially you're on stage, your adrenaline is running. Like every time I get off stage, even if it's a mediocre performance, I'm like on top of the world. I'm like, oh
Yeah,
hell
and
yeah.
you can compartmentalize the two things. You can be like, that set wasn't awesome, but you still feel like I did get
Oh,
some
yeah,
laughs,
true.
so we're working on it. We're
Yeah.
working. There was one set I did, and I crushed in the room. I crushed because even the booker came up to me because I was featuring for my friend, and even the booker was like, "Dude, that was great."
Hell yeah.
And I was like, "Fuck yeah."
Yeah.
I go back and watch the tape, and you're like, "This sucks.
This
This is terrible." Because
Yeah.
at the time, my camera set up way in the back, and it's a
Yeah.
big room, and I didn't know the settings for the camera. I just recently learned these, so all my shit looks super grainy. So not only
yeah.
does it look really grainy, but then the audio quality sucks because all
Yeah.
it's picking up is the mic because it's in the back of the room. And I was like,
100%, yeah.
I absolutely murdered, and I can't use any of this.
Yeah. I almost think like I had a good show recently where the whole show flowed so well. I hosted, like I had a hosting set that felt really good, and I forgot to record. I like to record when I'm hosting. I like to record the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I thought it went so well. And now this conversation is making me be like, maybe it's a good thing
Yeah.
I didn't record.
because
it
then
lives
too-
good in my mind.
With the way it works, it's like content.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I'll talk to my friends who have like a big following, and they're like,
Yeah.
"It doesn't fucking matter. Just cut it all up and put it all out."
I know.
Who fucking cares?
I know. I need to live by that rule.
But to your point, if you don't record the bad sets, you can't
It lives
rewatch
better in my
them.
mind.
And yeah, and you're not like cutting up shitty footage, being like, "Well, I have to put something out."
Right.
So you actually escape a little unscathed doing that.
Yeah.
You have two more stories that I wanted to get into because
Yeah.
we're running out of time.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's talk about your unemployed summer.
Oh yeah. So that was the summer of comedy.
That's
like
what I thought,
hitting
yeah.
mics. And that's when I think I slowed down drinking.
That's
quite a
okay.
bit.
That's what I wanted to
because
ask.
it's like financial. It wasn't
Yeah.
for any help.
When you moved to
reason.
New York, you're like, "Oh, this is expensive."
Yeah, it's crazy. And so, my days were spent like applying for jobs, doing comedy, and then just like getting a little stoned and laying in the park. And I like starting out comedy. I was like trying to think of this bit where I'm like, I'm like so close to homelessness. I've been getting high and going to sleep in the park. Like, this is a dangerous, slippery slope. It's not a finalized bit at all, but like,
the premise is there though, where it's like, one of my very good friends, Matt Fulshron, shout out to the Full Charge. He has a bit that he used to do where, he talks about being homeless.
Yeah.
And I love the bit because he's like, we've all been there. Yeah. If you've never been homeless, you're not really trying in life.
Yeah. You're not living life to its fullest potential.
Exactly. Because it's like one of those things where it's like, oh yeah, like I've couch surfed, which is technically homelessness.
Right.
And I've also been like getting kicked out of a place and been like, I have nowhere to go.
100%.
I remember one summer in college, I met this girl. I was a freshman in college, and we started dating. We met at work. I was working at Outback, and she was a hostess, and I was a server.
Hell yeah.
And we fell in love. No, but we started dating, and I remember we had dated for like 2 months, and I was like, I don't have anywhere to go for like summer break. I'm gonna have to go home, but that was a whole other bag of worms just because my relationship at the time with my parents. So I was like, I don't know where I'm gonna go.
Right.
And she was like, oh, you can stay. She was living at home with her parents because she was from that area. She goes, you can stay with me at my house.
At your parents' house?
And I was like, we've been dating for 2 months and you want me to like move into your bedroom for 3 months during the summer?
Your dad's going to love that.
She was so about it. And I remember at one point I had like nowhere to go.
Yeah.
So I was like, because like for like 3 days I stayed on a buddy's couch and then another 3. But
it's
like it was half the summer because I remember I was doing summer B classes.
Yeah.
So all of summer A. So for a month and a half I had like nowhere to go. Yeah. So I was cobbling it together.
Yeah.
And then finally, like
the dam breaks.
Right. And I was like, I'm gonna have to stay at your house.
Yeah.
And I remember she was like, yeah, we can just sleep in my room. And I was like, I don't think that's okay.
No.
Nothing about this says this is okay.
Yeah.
And her dad was like a pretty big booze bag, so he was kind of just out of it.
Oh, okay.
And her mom was like, we love you, Brennan, you're the best. It's fine. And I remember she was like,
you have to be the one to like put I'm not.
I was like, she's like, you can just sleep in my bed. And I was like, I'm sleeping on the floor. I'm not comfortable with any of this. So you falling asleep in the park reminds me of that, where it's like, yeah, we've all had to do stuff.
We've all been there.
What happened at your cousin's wedding?
Oh boy. Okay, so this is throwing it back to I think like sophomore year. I think I was like 20, or maybe I was freshly 21.
Okay.
And all my cousins, because my parents had me so young, all of my cousins are like so much older than me. They're like 10 years older than me at least. And so at that age, I had always wanted to like hang out with the cousins, right? And this is a middle of Indiana wedding. My cousins had a couple of kegs. And
of course.
Yeah.
Indiana wedding, baby.
Yeah. At the reception, no one really drank. But all my cousins were like, we're going to take these back to like our place, you know. And we just sat in the garage and played King's Cup. And it was every sort of alcohol. And then like some people weren't drinking. And so there was just like Coke in there too. Like mixers. It was the most disgusting thing. And I'm trying to hang with all my cousins. All my cousins are big dudes, like 6 foot plus.
Yeah, Midwest, baby.
Yeah,
corn-fed. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm trying to hang with them. I thought I could. Turns out I can't.
It's always a mistake.
Yeah.
When you're like, no, we can party.
Yeah, exactly. And I remember before I went to that party, my mom goes, because we were staying at my grandma and grandpa's house. And this is the house that I was like, born in, grew up in for the first like 4 years of my life, visited this house. She told me like, don't come back to grandma and grandpa's house, like throwing up everywhere. I was like, Mom, no problem. Like, I'm good.
Come on.
Turns out I lost King's Cup. down to the cup in one swig, and immediately it started.
Yeah, I'm going to throw up just listening.
It was so bad. It was really bad.
Did you go back to grandma's house throwing up?
Yeah.
Or did you just get it all out?
I got a lot out while I was there. Apparently, I ran past my cousin who was also throwing up into his own fridge. I don't remember that at all. Like, so I'm like throwing up. They take me back to grandma's house, and I, for whatever reason, I was able to hold it together for the car ride. As soon as we were back, immediate, like the waterworks started going again.
I've done that
It was
before.
bad.
As soon
It was
as you
bad.
open the car door, you're like,
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
and you're like, how did I hold it together for a 30-minute car ride?
Yeah, and it turns out that was my last time ever going to that house. My grandparents moved shortly thereafter. That was the last time I was in that house. And that house like means so much to me.
The
like,
last memory.
or
throwing
lack
up
of memory.
Yeah, exactly.
It was bad, man. I was like laying on the kitchen floor. At one point, they had a bunch of dogs too, and so like me coming home, opening the door, dogs going crazy. I'm like, oh no.
This is my nightmare.
Yeah.
This is my nightmare.
Yeah, it was so bad, man. It was unreal. Yeah.
Dude, this was fun.
Yeah, this was a blast.
Plug
Thanks for
everything
having
one
me.
more time. Let everyone
Yeah.
know where they can find you.
At Gav Rogers on Instagram and at Cold Beer Comedy on Instagram. Bi-weekly shows. It's a hell of a time.
Beautiful. Plug everything in the show notes. Thank you, everybody, so much for listening. At Brennan T. Comedy on all social media. BrennanTComedy.com. By the time you're listening to this, I'm in LA for Matt Fulster on special taping. But check out the website for upcoming dates, and we'll talk to y'all next week.
Hell yeah.
Boom. Dude, that
Sweet.
was blast.
Amazing.